everyone. Good morning. Ah. Oh, hear an echo somewhere? All right. We're good. We're good. Happy Monday. Getting back in the swing of things. I'm sure maybe a lot of people took today off, though, hopefully. Christmas in 3 days. I'll probably stream tomorrow too. Might as well. Better to do. But got a wide variety of topics today for today's stream. OpenAI shipments day 12 on Friday. They announced their new O3 model, which was cool, but a little a little out of touch, I guess. I think it's being overhyped by a lot of people. For how much it costs, and yeah, I guess it's definitely it has a while for it to be on like O1 level or GPT-4o level. It's really expensive to run, and it takes a really long time. So I don't know. Anyways, might briefly cover that, but I just don't really have much to say because I think it's overhyped, and that we'll see until it has more. There's more outlets, more use cases for it. Whoa. But I saw this video of this yesterday, and I can't tell if it's fake or not. Like this Chinese robot maker Unitree. I can't tell if like what's real and what's fake. Like this is clearly CGI, but then like they have this video and like the music is ridiculous. I can't tell if it looks CGI. Like this looks CGI. But they don't say that it is. Like it looks, I don't know. But it's cool. I just can't tell if it's real, if they're real or not. They make a bunch of like humanoid robots. Like this looks fake. This is fake. Right? Anyways. Yeah, CGI. That's what I'm saying. But like this video looks CGI. Can't pan the camera like that. Like this looks fake right here. Just like the lighting is just a slight bit off. But like that looks like it looks so good though. Like right here. Is it recording itself? Like this is fake. This 100% CGI. Like you could tell that this is. Just by the like lighting and like shit. Like this is fake. Thing is falling. But then like I saw a video somewhere else. I don't know where they were writing it. So I'm like, okay, is it real? What's this thing called? The Go2 W. I don't know. They have a bunch of like humanoid robots too. That's what we're on. They're kind of like, they look like, I don't know. This is like with no face here. Just, yeah, it's a little weird. They have like cameras up here. Of course, they'll beat the drone and show how it recovers. beat the robot. Old Boston Dynamics, you know, brought that one into the playbook. This thing looks so weird. Like the fact that it's like wearing clothes too is like. But I saw this other one that they have. This one, I swear they had like a video that looks CGI too. Like, I'm pretty sure this is fake. I don't know if this is even real. Like, look at the background looks CGI. And this is only $16,000. Oh, it's tiny. Like, this... Yeah, I don't even know. Like, why would they fake this, though? Hey, jeez. Whoops. Yeah, I don't even know. This is crazy, though. Like, if they're faking all of this, it's just weird. Like, the new agent era. I was actually talking about this last night. Where it's like, once we actually have robots, you know, it'll be like doing our dishes. But I guarantee you, these robot companies, once they actually get consumer, like more consumer facing, like human scale robots, they're going to sell it just like Elon Musk is trying to sell robotaxis, where they're going to say at night when you're not using it, when it's not doing the dishes and cleaning up the house, it could go, you know, make money for you, run a DoorDash, doing deliveries, doing shit outside, you know? Like, bro, I'm going to have like a my robot that hangs out in my house gonna be like a bounty hunter on the side or something. It's gonna be doing like investigative work out at night when it's not cleaning up the house. Bro, imagine what's that robot made Jetsons? Bro, Rosie at night could be the best AI private investigator there is. Best robot private investigator there is. Kidding. But these are cheap. I think they said they're like $16,000, which is like $16,000. That's so G1. But you know that as soon as these become like actually useful and like every household could do it, bro, they're gonna be loan companies that only make loans from. Bro, there's gonna be loan companies that only give out loans just for these AI robots, and they're gonna be a requirement in the contract that they make money outside of. They like do side things to make money just so they could pay, so they could like pay back the loan, you know. Like, all right, well, your robot's gonna have about, you know, 6 hours allocated per week where it needs to go out and make money. That's our guarantee that we're gonna get our payment for this this loan for the robot. 2-hour battery life is nothing. Anyways, yeah, I thought this was interesting. I was like, is this real? It's so weird. It has 400,000 views on here. $16,000. Oh, here's is this one where they're writing it? Look at the writing here. Funny. All right, let's actually get into the news here. We have a good chunk of stuff today. A lot to cover. Also, a quick tool. I've been using Obsidian. It's like my personal knowledge management for a while now, and I only recently discovered that they had this web clipper. But what you could do with the web clipper is you could add in and like a AI interpreter. So kind of it before you send it to Obsidian, like the program, like as a web clipping, you could add in, you could have it process like different for different AI. And so I have it here going like AI summary, where I prompted to summarize the key points in 6 or less bullet points and like write key points and then give the context and big picture. And then I also have it give 3 tags based off of the content. And then I have a thing that says when it was generated. And it's cool, a little like for this one. And this is what kind of what it actually looks like when it in the file when it saves. And this is AI generated, which is interesting. And I just put the date here just so I know that an AI generated this. But it's cool that you could have it like interpret it, and you could have it like do that on any of the information on the website before it's saved. Pretty nice. And I also have one for like a company and startup, and I tell it to like give its objective and cut through the marketing bullshit, because it's hard when you're on when you're like looking at a new tool or startup and it's so marketing heavy. I don't even know what they actually do. And then I also have it give like problems they solve, and then list the industry and sub industry that they're part of, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I have an example of that one right, but anyways, yeah, cool call out. I've been using Obsidian for a long time and I never even knew this their clip thing existed, so it's neat. Okay, let's start with this. Self-driving cars, there's been quite a bit of news on self-driving cars this past like 2 months or so. Waymo moving to Tokyo and expanding to a lot of cities, and then Cruise essentially being shut down by GM and them focusing on not just self-driving cars, or on a lower like assisted driving, not necessarily self-driving, and also not having its own cars and just using the technology in GM's cars and not having like a fleet of robotaxis. That's what I was trying to say. So and then we have this now, and obviously Tesla's in the news like every other week for a crash for their self-driving stuff, and also just, I don't know, the general hype around it. And it's a bit unknown, I guess, with Trump's administration. I mean, if anything, we know that they're going to deregulate stuff, so that could, lead the way to more openness in terms of self-driving cars. So we have that at least. We know at least that, but the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration changed some rules. This was December 20th, Friday. That could make it so more self-driving cars will be on the road. So let's take a look at TechCrunch here, then we'll look at the official announcement. And I don't know how many startups there actually are right now that are doing like straight up only robotaxis. I feel like it's usually like a side project, or they have some other core technology that they sell and they make robotaxis as like their kind of side project product. Let's say project. All. Like these are cool. This is when I think of robotaxis, this is more so what I think of versus like Waymo, like a normal car. Like I want to see this. I think though this is just much more expensive to manufacture because it's completely custom, whereas Waymo is just retrofitting on existing cars. So, but this thing looks cool. But for riders, not drivers. Bay Area, of course. I wonder if they're actually running though. All right. Anyways, let's read. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration on Friday proposed new national framework that could make it easier for companies to deploy and scale autonomous vehicles without traditional manual driving controls like steering wheels, pedals, and side view mirrors. Oh, maybe there's just like regulatory requirements. And that's what's holding them back. I guess like in terms of like the vehicle requirements. The guidelines also require AV companies to share a whole lot more safety data with the agency. AV, autonomous vehicles. The AV industry has been anticipating NHTSA's, that is a mouthful, proposals since last year when the agency first proposed the ADS equipped vehicle safety transparency and evaluation program known as AV STEP. The program's goal, among other things, was to allow NHTSA to greenlight the sale and commercialization of autonomous vehicles that are not compliant with federal safety standards due to lack of manual controls. So these are like full autonomous vehicles, not even any. Yeah, I guess that's what I would consider like what this thing is, because it's not like a human could take control in the vehicle. Today, autonomous vehicles that have all their manual parts are allowed to operate on public roads without oversight from HTSA, but any AVs that can't be taken over by a human driver have to get an exemption from the agency. That would make sense, I guess. So this is more so... I wonder what safety data they have to share. Unless you're, of course, they're Zoox. The Amazon-owned company has maintained that it doesn't need an exemption from NHTSA because it has self-certified the safety of its vehicles. It claimed that the agency is actively investigating. What? How does that work? You're like, yeah, we did our own internal testing and we're good. Like, you guys don't need to look into us. Like, we're good. Also, it's interesting that they're owned by Amazon. So Amazon and Google are directly competing on this. I mean, Waymo seems way further ahead. The fact that they're actually running. That's crazy that they're just like, yeah, we self-certified, so we're good. Examination of the process and technical data on which Zoox relied when certifying the Zoox vehicle and related issues. This was like 2 years ago, too. Zoox, which recently started rolling out its toaster-like vehicles in San Francisco, isn't the only AV company looking to lose the steering wheel and pedals. Cruise, before it went under, planned to deploy the Origin. Yeah, this is the only other one really I've seen without. Maybe Tesla had one, but deploy Origin, or sorry, I didn't even finish my thought. The only one without like a steering wheel, like a traditional car. It's purpose-built robotaxi at scale. Electric and autonomous trunking company Einride, the German, intends to commercialize an AV freight pod that doesn't even have a cab for a driver, let alone pedals. And Tesla unveiled its two-door robotaxi prototype in October, which it plans to start production on in 2025 or 2026, according to CEO Elon Musk. Einride. Swedish. Thing looks neat. I feel like trucking would just benefit the most right now because we actually have a need for like truck drivers. Like I'm pretty sure we have a shortage, and I feel like that's only going to be exacerbated since it's kind of a rough job. You're on the road all the time. Like it's a lifestyle job, really, and those ones are kind of, I feel like they're harder to sell. Like the freight vehicles would just, I mean, one, it's commercial, so I mean there's probably more money in it than consumer for now, and we actually have a real need for it, so I'm sure that it'd be easier to sell since there's a real shortage. But I imagine that's probably the harder one for autonomous vehicles to actually get certified to. Is there any autonomous like freight vehicles? I feel like though the hard part too is most time you're going cross state borders and like out of cities, where a lot of times it's like specific cities that they only have, and it's across state borders, and then states have to certify it. Yeah, I don't know. That's harder. Yeah, well, I'm assuming projects. Yeah, I'm talking about street legal, like how there's like self-driving taxis right now. Yeah, I'm talking. Yeah. Talking if there's like any self-driving like freight vehicles out driving right now on public streets. Maybe like small regional ones, but I'm not even. That's such a. I'm not even look it up right now. It's such a side project. Yeah, probably not. Yeah, yeah. So I was thinking. Yeah, it's weird. Robotaxis, I guess, are the. We'll just have to start with robotaxis, and I wonder if any of these robotaxis will actually continue more consumer focused or like taxi services, or if they'll actually like pivot, or not even pivot, just make another product that's more commercialized for freight or something of the like I imagine there's gonna be a robotaxi company that pops up that's only like executive transport. You know, it's like a high end one that, you know, I don't know, has some features that rich people want or something. That actually would be, I feel like that's even like better to start with than some of the others. Anyways, let's continue. NHTSA's proposed program is a voluntary one that would give participants an opportunity to demonstrate their commitment to transparency for the vehicles and operations by providing regular reporting on safety. I mean, I think this is fair. Like, hey, you know, we'll be more laxed. The government's like, we'll be more lax with letting some you know, you guys try out more things, but we just need you to provide us more data regarding safety so we have a better idea of things. Like, to me, that seems fair, I guess, because it'll allow the NHTSA to, you know, understand it better and know where to, you know, maybe where regulation could be helpful for safety or not helpful for safety, and they get some data to just get more context and understand the situation better, and then the companies could, you know, get more robotaxis approved. We'll look at the actual announcement after this. The AV STEP program has 2 tiers, one for vehicles built with human controls with fallback designs that can be managed by humans. This is like what Waymo falls into, because they have humans could take control of the vehicle if needed. And another for vehicles built without such controls. As much of the latter begin to flood the public streets, NHTSA hopes the program and data reporting will make the agency better equipped to address emerging risks associated with their deployment. Yeah, exactly. I think that's pretty fair. To qualify for the program, companies need to submit data related to the safety of the design, development, operations of their AVs. Once admitted, participants will be required to submit both periodic and event-triggered reports, like crash reports, to the NHTSA, all of which the agency would be at liberty to publish in the name of transparency. I mean, yeah, I guess, like, you submit data related to the safety of the design, development, operations. Once admitted, participants are required to submit both periodic and event-triggered reports. Yeah, like crash reports. Yeah, I mean, I guess, like, I could see, like, just in terms of PR, I imagine, like, they wouldn't want that. But, I mean, yeah, it's like, it's gonna get out anyways. I don't know. Like, I doubt Tesla would join this. I doubt they would, honestly. Like, Elon Musk just, like, hates shit like this. And, like, they already have, like, a lot of bad PR around crashes, so I doubt Tesla would join something like this. But whereas Waymo's great track record, they don't really crash that much, and so it's like, I'm sure they're like, sure, great, we'll join. TSA's call for more data comes as President-elect Donald Trump's transition team has signaled a desire to quash a Biden-era requirement for car crash reporting that Musk and Tesla oppose. Of course. I mean, of course. And it's all just bad PR, which is unfortunate because, I mean, this one's kind of messed up. We'll finish this paragraph. Tesla has the largest market share of vehicles with automated driving features in the US, and as such, the majority of the total reported crashes come from Teslas. Yeah, Tesla has, I mean, we need to see it percentage-wise, because, like, if they just have the most, then obviously it makes sense that they kind of, like, have the most crashes. Tesla has been targeted in several NHTSA investigations, some of which stem from roughly 1,500 crashes the automaker reported to federal safety regulators. Yeah, so, like, the shitty thing I feel like of this is, imagine if you're a consumer and you want to, like, pick the safest option. If you have to trust what the company says, and that's the only way you could get a perspective on what one might be the safest, that is, there's just a whole lot of wrong incentives there. The companies incentivize not to really tell you the truth, which in turn could put more lives at risk, I guess. I don't know. It's just a little slimy that like they just don't really like the idea of reporting car crashes, because that their incentive is bad PR. They want more people to buy it. Yeah, I don't know. That's a little slimy. It's too soon to tell whether crash reporting for AVs will be eliminated under Trump's regime, but NHTSA says it wants to collect such data so it can keep up with the fast-moving industry in anticipation for one day establishing minimum standards for AV performance. Yeah, realistically, for autonomous vehicles, we'll never have full safety until we have a unified protocol that where all these autonomous vehicles could communicate with each other. If other cars could talk to other cars, they would know what it's doing and understand its moves, and so they could avoid each other and do things that wouldn't interfere with each other, especially if we have competing protocols and things. If some cars are talking to each other and some aren't, all of Tesla's, let's say Tesla has a bunch of robotaxis, if they're all communicating with each other and they kind of have this swarm mentality, they need to include other autonomous vehicles, because they could be acting against each other or doing things that would put both people at harm. And if you could communicate, if a car's driving, if one car's like, hey, I'm gonna make a left turn here, and then another car, autonomous vehicle, is like, I'm gonna make a left turn, and they both crash. If they're communicating with each other, like, hey, I'm gonna make a left turn, the car's like, okay, cool, I'll make a left turn after you, and then it's all good. But we need standards, I guess, for that to even happen. And if that's the case, then we don't even need stoplights. We don't even need anything. It arguably actually speed up things, because since they could communicate with each other, everyone could just move around. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm thinking of Scythe, where it's it's self-driving cars all connected to a singular AI. Something just like that. Not even an AI, but just a protocol that could talk to each other, so it knows what their next move is going to be. There's just really no need for stoplights or stop signs or anything. I mean, I guess for humans to cross, but anyways. Too soon to tell whether crash reporting for AVs. Oh yeah, we already saw this. Some industry advocates say the proposed framework is premature. Kathy Chase, president of Advocates for Highway and Auto Safety, pointed out that the proposal was released shortly after NHTSA issued a set of studies touting the effect of federal safety standards in saving over 860,000 lives from 1968 to 2019. I think vehicle crashes is pretty high up there in terms of causes of death. Expanding the deployment of ADS and without the safety protections provided by FMVSSs. What? I don't even know what this could stand for. At this time seems premature and lacks independent research and data to support the action, Chase said in a statement. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of drama around this, I guess. I don't know. I think wide bumpers. Having wide bumpers isn't bad. I don't really know how much this would affect the actual industry. I think a lot of times they overreact, and it's usually minimal. Reporting crashes to the program doesn't really seem like that bad. Here's the actual NHTSA announcement. U.S. Department of Transportation and Highway Safety Traffic Administration today proposed a voluntary national framework for evaluation and oversight of certain vehicles equipped with autonomous driving systems. Ugh. The ADS-equipped Vehicle Safety Transportation and Evaluation Program, known as AV-STEP, would establish a voluntary review and reporting framework for participating ADS-equipped vehicles. The program would be open to all companies that operate or plan to operate compliant ADS-equipped vehicles on public roads, as well as requiring NHTSA exemption to operate a non-compliant vehicle. I think the exemption is probably what people don't like. They just want to just get approved. AV Step would provide a valuable national framework at a pivotal time in the development of ADS technology. Safe, transparent, and responsible development is critical for this technology to be trusted by the public and reach its full potential. This proposal lays the foundation for those goals and supports NHTSA's safety mission. NHTSA Chief Counsel Adam Raviv said, "We encourage everyone to comment on our proposed program." Okay. It would promote greater transparency in participating ADS operations and help the agencies study and oversee ADS technology as it matures. Data are fundamental to NHTSA's work, and the proposed program would provide NHTSA and the public with greater insight into ADS development and operational data. This is yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of broad, like it's kind of like little marketing speaky. A 265-page document. All right, not reading this. I feel like the reporting though just doesn't really seem that bad. Like periodic reporting. Like event triggered reporting, like I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll see. I mean, if the storyline of Trump removing them is true, and especially with Elon like being that close, like I feel like that's just going to be the case. If Elon Musk opposes it, then I don't know. Right now, I assume that Elon's just going to get whatever he wants, just do whatever he wants at the government. So, yeah, it's whatever. It sucks, I guess. I guess I feel like these kind of cars that like actually don't have steering wheels, like these are the ones that like, yeah, I feel like are a little bit harder. I feel like these kind of need some approval. Like I don't really know if I want like everything like that, like all of these like on the roads without any sort of certification. I don't know. As someone who walks on the sidewalks, I would like some protection. I always like to look at their hiring page, see how fast they're growing. Oh, they're hiring quite a few people. They're actually hiring like, holy shit, they're hiring like so many people. Brake engineer intern. Jesus. All right, they're hiring a lot of people, so they're going pretty quickly. A lot in California. What is wonder who yeah, this is the cruise vehicle. Wonder who else is making these kind of cars. Full stack. Yeah, and this is what I was kind of saying. Where like there's definitely companies that are making like pieces of the entire kind of stack of self-driving, and I think those companies are probably gonna like move into taxi, like robotaxis. We covered one. I actually covered, or I looked at one on stream here. They're making LiDAR technology for Volkswagen. Or was it Volkswagen? These guys? I feel like it wasn't these guys. Innoviz? No, it definitely wasn't these guys. It wasn't Volkswagen. like Lexus or something. Anyways, yeah, so I mean, the people who make these like LiDAR technologies, I feel like are going, like, they kind of also make like the taxis or whatever. 'Cause that's like the main technology behind these. All right. Next topic. Let's what do we got today? Look at the Artemis program. Yeah, I don't even know what's going on with our moon program. The fact that the actual like rocket, the manufacturing of the rocket itself is stemming the delays, which is, that's just not a good sign. And the fact that Boeing, who's having, been having some financial troubles, is the one behind the rocket, the primary government contractor, like running it, doesn't, make me feel any more optimistic either. And like one of the Ars Technica, one of their like top space reporter, said that he had rumors that it was just going to be canceled. So the fact that it's delayed again is crazy. And Artemis program is supposed to get us to the moon. Let's just do a review. And it keeps, I mean, part of the reason it's delayed a lot too is they keep adding on to the amount of rocket launches it's going to take to get to the moon. Yeah, I mean, this is so outdated already, just because this is from 2020, just started in 2020. So we have first human spacecraft to the moon in 21st century. Is this supposed to be in 2020? Like, Artemis 2, first humans to orbit the moon. Support mission, yeah, the first high-power solar electric propulsion system. First pressurized module delivered to the Gateway. Human landing system delivered to Gateway. Crewed mission to Gateway lunar surface. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rocket launches just to get the Gateway. This is just to get to the lunar Gateway. 6 rockets, and it's going to take even more because. Yeah, I mean, like, refueling, this doesn't even account for refueling in, like, Earth orbit, because you're going to have to launch up, refuel, and then go over, especially if they're going to use SpaceX's Starship. Like, it's going to take several launches. Yeah, here's a space launch system. This is what Boeing's runs the space launch system. The rocket looks cool, and the rocket is ginormous. It's so big. Oh yeah, here's the lunar gateway. The lunar gateway is kind of like going to be our space station around the moon. Got the habitat, and it's, interesting that I didn't realize that we were partnering with a Russian space agency for the lunar gateway. I did not know that. So this is the Orion. This is like where the crew's supposed to come in at. You got U.S. utilization. You got logistics, deep space hub for science and exploration and collaboration. Yeah, propulsion. Interesting. Yeah, and SpaceX Dragon XL capsule. SpaceX Dragon XL. But I don't know. They're very optimistic with this, and like it's just not really turning out. It's not going into a plan, and so I just don't really know what the future is of this. So let's read, and we'll look into it more. All right, NASA's first 2 crewed Artemis moon missions have been pushed back to 2026 and 2027, respectively. And the move could have big ramifications for agency's Artemis program in competition with China for leadership in space. Yeah, I don't know. I was reading this Wall Street Journal article about China recently, and actually this morning I was sitting on the toilet. But China's, I kind of thought that they were actually seriously going to continue down the trajectory of kind of beating us a bit, but they're kind of having a lot of problems on their homeland here with their just economy. So I mean, I don't know. I feel like China's not as big of a competitor, I feel like now, or at least they're not as like put together and organized as I feel like they're kind of portrayed as. Anyways, Artemis 2, which will send a crew of 3 Americans and a Canadian astronaut around the moon, was due to launch in September of 2025. The mission has now been moved back to April 2026. NASA announced on December 5th, Artemis 3, which is set to put humans on the surface of our nearest celestial neighbor for the first time in more than half a century, has also slipped from late 2026 to mid 2027. And I think this is even going to be pushed more. This is even optimistic. The latest delays stem in part from an issue with the Orion crew spacecraft and its heat shield, which was detected after a skip re-entry during the uncrewed Artemis 1 mission in late 2022. The fact that they're having like heat shield problems is like, I mean, I don't know, not to call them noobs because this is hard, but it seems like that would be a easy issue to solve, I guess, because it's already been solved in a way. We've since determined that while the capsule was dipping in and out of the atmosphere as part of that planned skip entry, yeah, and also I'll talk about this after, but heat accumulated inside the heat shield outer layer, leading to gases forming and becoming trapped inside the heat shield. The heck? NASA Deputy Administrator Pam Melroy said during December 5th press conference, this caused internal pressure to build up and lead to cracking and uneven shedding of the outer layer. Interesting. Artemis 2 will still use Orion, but with a different re-entry trajectory to better manage the resulting heat. The safety of our astronauts is always first, and our decisions, NASA Build Administrator said. Yeah, and it's actually interesting because kind of the way it works in space, if this is Earth, and then this is our atmosphere. Oh, whoops. This is Earth, and then this is our atmosphere. Let's put it red. We don't want to infill, actually. Can we do no fill? When I actually want this to be thinner. This is our atmosphere. When a spacecraft or something comes in, can I do other shapes? Let's do a square. If this is the spacecraft, when it comes in, the atmosphere could actually you actually have to come at a certain angle when it hits the atmosphere. So I guess if it's coming in and it's like orbiting, if it's orbiting like this, if you kind of just come down like this, it'll literally bounce off of the atmosphere. And so you have to take it at a certain angle that hits it perfectly so it actually cuts through and it'll, you know, go through the atmosphere. This bounce it could be pretty dangerous, especially like considering like if it's a humans and they go and they bounce and they don't have, you know, any way to get back, you kind of like skip like this too, and eventually you might lose orbit or not be able to get back in because you don't have the speed to break through, or you keep hitting it at certain angles to where it'll skip across the atmospheric surface like this. And so that's kind of the problem they ran into, where it skipped. It like skipped on the atmosphere, kind of dipping in and out, and it got some weird heat layer problems, which is interesting. But I don't know. I guess this again, like this seems like we've like solved this problem. Like we understand, you know, kind of the atmosphere stuff, this heat shield stuff. Like I don't know. This doesn't really seem new, so it's interesting that we're having these problems. The delay allows NASA more time to understand and fully address the Orion issue, and also to get to the landing systems and other aspects like lunar extravehicular activity suits ready for the mission. It also allows for improvements and increased safety. However, it may disrupt the momentum of contractors and suppliers, which is no small matter. A lack of regular flight cadence can lead to inefficiencies and a loss of expertise. Yeah, I mean, I definitely, this is definitely a good point, and especially these contractors, because they may be relying on some of these contracts as revenue when the time comes. Like maybe they only have a certain amount of runway up until a point, and if NASA keeps delaying, it's like, bro, we need the money. Like, especially if it's for other contractors. If other contractors are kind of delaying, it's kind of sucks for those waiting for the income. But most notably, the announcement of delays to the Artemis mission come at a time of flux for NASA. It brings a level of uncertainty to the missions themselves, their architecture, and perhaps even the entire Artemis program. Donald Trump was elected as president of the United States in November and is set to return to the White House in January. He campaigned on a platform of cutting budgets and lowering taxes. That in itself could spell trouble for NASA programs deemed to costly or inefficient. Yeah, because I think last run around, Trump cut like Earth Sciences division for NASA and some other things, and that like in turn kind of has like cascading effects sometimes because they could be reliant on budgets for like other missions and things. So yeah, I don't know, but I could see Trump like not or increasing budget for NASA in certain aspects, but reducing it in others. Again, especially considering Elon Musk is his bro now, I guess. So, but actually, I feel like that would not benefit Elon Musk. He might want more private sector, and doesn't want his NASA becoming a bigger player. Although they are a large customer of SpaceX, so I don't know. One aspect of Artemis rumored to be immediately under threat is the Space Launch System, the giant rocket designed to launch Orion to the moon. Yeah, this is what Boeing manages. The launcher has been under intense scrutiny for years due to vast cost overruns and numerous delays in development. A mobile launch tower for the SLS has been afflicted by cost overruns and delays. The U.S. Government Accountability Office in September 2023 described the rocket as unaffordable for sustained space exploration. I mean, part of it is just the military-industrial complex that they're making the rocket, and so it's politically, driven. They make one piece in one part of the United States that they need some congressman to, in their pocket to pass some bill, and so I don't know. When you get things like that, logistics become way overcomplicated, too politically intertwined with local economies too, and you get like these overruns because one piece in the middle of Mississippi doesn't get made because of X reason. And I don't know, when you get things intertwined like this, it doesn't intertwine with politics. It just never ends up well. And also because of that, you can't take some efficiencies that you could otherwise take when you kind of have a more centralized manufacturing supply chain. Trump has publicly nominated Jarek Isaacman, a billionaire with 2 private space flights using SpaceX's hardware under his belt, to head up NASA. I did not know that. I think I know who this is. Jared Isaacman. I spelled his name wrong already. I missed it. Yeah, yep. He owns F-16s and shit, I'm pretty sure. He owns private fighter jets. He's a commercial astronaut. That's crazy that this fucking guy's running. Yeah, he owns a MiG-29. I actually don't know if he owns it, but he has the largest fleets of private jets. Yeah. I don't know. This is weird that this guy's running NASA. I did not know that. That's how he made his money. POS systems. I want to see what jets he owns. I don't know about this now. Mainly because you have to remember NASA is more of a scientific program. This dude seems like, you know, a little too gung-ho on like some other like the more military focused. NASA needs an engineer more than anything that leads it. A scientist. That's kind of the mindset you need versus, yeah, like running a business, like businessman type. Elon Musk, Trump's wealthiest supporter in an active part of the presidential campaign, is close to the president-elect and is thought to be in a position to influence policy. That has raised the possibility that a new Trump administration could replace SLS with Starship from Musk's SpaceX. Well, Starship was already part of kind of the plan to go to the moon, though. I'm pretty sure. Starship is already part of the architecture for future Artemis missions, and its reusability and cost effectiveness, if proven, would give it a major advantages over expensive expendable SLS. Such a move would not be straightforward, but these new delays make it more possible. Yeah, the fact that it would be fully, if they only use SpaceX hardware, I mean, that would change a lot of things because the Orion capsule I don't think would fit anymore. So like that's one thing, but this was June. In terms of international competition, the delay of Artemis 3 to 2027 further narrows the margin between NASA's return to the moon and NASA's attempt to put its first astronauts on the lunar surface. Beijing has committed to a mission to put 2 astronauts on the moon before 2030 and is actively working on all the elements needed to achieve the feat, including a new rocket, spacecraft, launcher, and launch pad. Yeah, and right now, I mean, like, China, you know, as much as I just said they don't really have their shit together, like, they do seem like they're kind of, they might get there before us. Yeah, the Long March, which is kind of their SpaceX competitor. Or the Falcon, SpaceX's Falcon ship, rocket competitor, Jesus. Making the first crewed landing on the moon this century would be a symbolic victory for either country. It would also demonstrate momentum and technological prowess and could provide the perception of leadership in space. I mean, China already has their own space station, and like, I mean, China's like definitely kind of showing us up a bit in space, actually. We might have better like rockets, but we're not really doing like sending anything crazy up to space, like new space stations and such. Still gotta wait till 2030. One further possibility, however, is that NASA drops the moon as the goal, looking deeper into space. While NASA sees the moon as a stepping stone to Mars, it could potentially look to skip a step. Ooh, I don't know about that. Iterating. You do small things and you learn from it, and then you iterate to do the big thing. I don't know about this. Musk has been very vocal about his plans to put humans on Mars, and Starship is integral to this effort. An administration close to Musk could also potentially decide to back Starship and switch focus from the moon to the red planet. Nah. I think the moon is still important right now. Because it's going to take us forever. It takes, like, you know, forever to get to the Mars, for one. Yeah, I think we could just move quicker at the moon for now. I don't know. Again, such decisions would be complex interplay of individuals and institutions, such as Congress, making big changes difficult to manufacture. Yeah, and I think Congress does still have to approve this stuff, so that's a good point. But big changes are possible, and they would have geopolitical ramifications. Both the US and China are working to secure partners for their respective Artemis and International Lunar Research Station, ILRS, programs. and ending Artemis could give China's efforts a massive boost. Yeah. There'd also be consequences for NASA's partnership with the European Space Agency and its member states, Japan, the United Arab Emirates, and more, which are engaged in Artemis and projects including the Lunar Gateway. I didn't realize UAE was here. Artemis is a cool name, yeah. It was also the first Trump administration that kicked off Artemis. Oh, that's interesting. But also that would make sense why it's so intertwined with the military-industrial complex. And the incoming president, actually, that's regardless. Actually, it would be no different under Biden or Democrats. And the incoming president may well want to oversee a triumphant return to the moon. I mean, I think any president would. NASA officials underlying on December 5th that Artemis program is viewed as a cornerstone for advancing human exploration and for moon to Mars and beyond. The agency is aiming to maintain a consistent flight cadence while reducing gaps between missions and incorporating lessons learned. However, changes may be coming to the agency's plans for Artemis and beyond. Dang. Yeah, it sucks that like a return to Mars or return to the moon is so, it's being so complicated. It's being complicated by a lot of like dumb things, like politics, military-industrial complex. And I think we're overcomplicating it too. I mean, we went to the moon with like, before we even had like computers, like, you know, like desktop computers. Like we're talking like the compute power we use to get to the moon is like less than, you know, that of like your smartphone, like way less. Power did the Saturn V rocket have? And the fact that we have all this technology and it's still so hard. Yeah, it didn't even have a computer. Like in the what we think of today. It was just like circuits, you know, more of that kind of computers. Like a mechanical system. Like that's crazy. And now today with all of our technological prowess, we can't even. Yeah, it's just we're overcomplicating it way more than it needs to be. So I don't know, I'm still optimistic about going, but I'm not sure when now. Like it just keeps getting delayed, intertwined in more and more politics. Both like the government, private and public sector politics. So yeah, sucks. And it sucks because there's really not many other large rockets being made besides Starship. Most of the other countries or not countries. I mean countries, yeah, but companies are still like iterating on their smaller rocket and like getting income coming in before they could, you know, just dish out R&D for bigger and bigger rockets. We have New Glenn, which, yeah, but I don't really know. They haven't even really launched anything yet. Cost per launch, this 68 million is pretty low though. Do we have a Artemis program cost per launch? I mean, this is just, I want to see cost per launch. Yeah, space launch system. Cost per launch, $2.5 billion. It's like 250, it's like 100 times. Like the cost per launch is crazy. 68 million. The whole entire project cost is this much. Let's compare the launch, the payload to geostationary. Do they have a... Yeah, translunar, payload to translunar injection. Oh, I mean, I guess, to be fair, it's like, it is the launch. So it's 15,059, so it's like, you know, 4 times as much. What are the blocks, though? Oh, cargo variant. This rocket's a lot bigger, I guess. So they got that, but... Oh, here. Oh, these are the different variants, I think. So the ones with this little yeah, this is the abort system. This is a rocket on top actually. So if something happens mid like as they're before they get to space, this thing just launches the actual pod off the rocket out of the way of the actual rocket. This is like how they could abort. And actually, I feel like, yeah, SpaceX's Dragon capsule actually has it built into the sides. But that's actually how they wanted to, oh, I can't type today. I wonder if they show it. Yeah, like these little like things right here is actually their abort, their little rocket engines, and this is actually how they wanted to land it. They wanted to land it just like suicide burn, like they do their rocket boosters. Last second, instead of using a parachute, and then just like land it with rockets, which I mean to me sounds super sketch, but that's what they wanted to do. And here's Orion, Starliner. Okay, this is interesting. This is a cool diagram. This is the China Long March and the Soyuz. It's crazy. Orion's habitable volume is way smaller than I thought, because Orion's supposed to be like long range, or like, you know, spend a long time in space. Oh, here, launch abort system. Oh, exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, tower. So that means something's on the top, like we're seeing. Oh, we already moved. Pusher. Yeah, the tower pulls it off, I guess. The pusher has little rockets here that push it off. It's funny. Cool how they like call it that. Oh, landing site. Interesting. I actually didn't even realize that. I didn't actually realize a SpaceX Dragon has to be landed in the ocean. China's isn't reusable though. I do think there is a bit of an advantage though landing on land, logistically less complex, or not. Actually, yeah, I feel like it is. Anyways, yeah, all right. Unknown future about Artemis program. We'll keep following that. Okay, let's jump into I think I'm gonna start doing all the stories I put in my title. I'm gonna do those first. I always at least like to cover those. Let's cover the game dev trends for next year. Or sorry, game dev trends for this year, kind of the top 5 trends. Because yeah, this one's there's some shitty trends I feel like going on, and they kind of highlighted some of them in here. All right. At first, we were tempted to declare the one single trend of 2024 by scrawling the word capitalism in big bold red letters on a header image and then walking away. That's funny. That's a pretty bold statement by the authors, but I mean, they're not wrong. I mean, yeah. Except then our bosses reminded us that we are a news outlet and it's our job to explain concepts to readers and not just boldly shout nonsense before walking on stage. That, they said, is what executives are for. That's funny. Yeah, and that really hangs true, or you know, shows to be true in gaming with these, you know, EA large gaming conglomerates. With one bright shining exception sitting down at the bottom of our list, a palate cleanser. The grip of raw, unfettered capitalism is what lurks under most of our major trends of the year. And we don't mean capitalism as commerce, whereby different parties participate in a competitive marketplace of exchange of goods, commodities, and services to serve different wants and needs. We mean capitalism whereby forces dedicate to extracting capital by any means necessary, prioritize short-term profits and meteoric growth over the quality of product, the health of the community, or even their own interests. Yeah. This is arguably starting to become more and more of a trend just in general, you know, kind of unfortunate, but you know, and you know, there's definitely companies popping up or like, you know, people in industries that kind of like definitely go against this and make you be more optimistic. So yeah, those misplaced goals drove the moneyed class into what sometimes seemed a literally feverish frenzy in the last year, as executives, investors, and sometimes studio heads all at times seem to be caught up in a strange sickness. Imagine someone lying in bed crying out phrases like ChatGPT make me an epic video game, or true digital ownership on the blockchain will unlock massive potential, or our goal is not to push any specific agenda. While they toss and turn, the rest of us are stuck kneeling over them, applying a cold press to their forehead and tending to their pus-filled wounds. Funny. If we're to treat the patient, we must identify the symptoms plaguing them. Some are minor and might be cured with a time and placebo. Others maybe require stronger medicines, which have sometimes which will have something of a bitter taste. Unionization, is that what this is? Yeah, this to me, stronger medicine is consumers putting the money where their mouth is. No. You don't like something, don't buy it. You don't want that trend to continue, then don't give them money. All right. Execs save their own skins by putting developers to the sword. Sudoku. Microsoft laid off 2,500 game developers this year. Sony carved through PlayStation Studios, cutting jobs across Guerrilla, Naughty Dog, Insomniac, and more. Take-Two downsized on multiple occasions, often refusing to provide comment or clarity when approached. Embracer continued its trend of treating workers like sacrificial lambs that can be fed to investors. EA made significant layoffs while lauding business momentum and dishing out $60 million in compensation to key executives. Netflix Games shuttered its only AAA studio weeks before its newly appointed VP of Generative AI for Games. What the fuck kind of title is this? I might have to look into that. Announced a new role with a fresh bowl of word salad. Hold on, I need to catch my breath. The video game industry has entered... Oh wait, no, I skipped that. So many of these cuts followed flagrant spending, with Microsoft in particular looking utterly inept for dropping almost $70 billion on Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard before suggesting it had to cut thousands of jobs to create a sustainable business. Go figure. Smaller studios also struggle to maintain headcount in a market where funding and business opportunities are at a premium, and with the biggest players now on their knees, the idea of job security has been a head fantasy for many developers. Yeah, this is unfortunate. It's really just like corpros being out of touch. And I talked about this on the stream before, but you'd think that instead of doing these layoff cycles that they do, they would understand the churn more and be they would use this as like to, you know, be more risk averse, like use this churn to like as a lesson to understand what causes it, and then, you know, take that risk out of the play. Hey, Chris Croft. Welcome back. We're talking about some of the game dev trends of 2024 that were kind of shitty. I mean, most of them are not the best, but yeah. But Jason Schreier, I read his book. I've read all of his books actually. But his most recent one was don't even have his books listed on here. Jason Schreier books. Goodreads, here we go. Yeah, Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. I mean, all of his books are good, but this Play Nice, Press Reset, Ruin and Recovery in the Video Game Industry. This book was great, and he interviewed a lot of like people who were affected and kind of veterans of the industry, and got their perspective on kind of the churn and just like the culture that was kind of created around like losing your job a lot, being fired a lot in the game industry. And a lot of times there's not really much reason besides incompetency from the executives and them just not understanding, like, I don't know, risks simply. They always are way too optimistic for a big project that is, you know, pretty 50-50 chance to be successful. And if you kind of spread your eggs out instead of putting it on one basket, I don't know, you'd think it'd be obvious that it would make them better. Oh, my camera froze. Ah, there we go. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. Okay, let's continue the article. Oh, I lost it. Here it is. The video game industry has entered into an era dominated by content, brands, and IP. Yeah, and this IP is part of the risk too. No one wants to get a new release a new IP because it's a lot riskier. Instead of just milking existing IPs that they have, releasing, you know, 4th, 5th, 6th series and games is kind of the trend. And it's definitely the way in movie industry too, just the entertainment industry in general. I feel like it's kind of going through this phase, making live actions of everything that already existed in animated form. I don't know. The idea that studios should nurture and support the talent behind their brightest releases in pursuit of new ideas has been dropped in favor of mass conglomeration and fast following. Malice and instability have become industry staples, manifesting as symptoms of corporate ineptitude that all too often result in developers, rather than the suit, clad decision makers being thrust into the guillotine. Yeah. So the people who make the game are kind of being the ones punished, which is, you know, isn't really the best, not the best cycle to be in. Only a world where leaders are held accountable for their incompetence would you expect this change. As we head into 2025, we'd like to go there someday. Yep. Generative AI transforms game development by aping what devs have been doing for years, but worse. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, AI in games is, right now, I feel like there's not much, like, it's still early, and, like, the startups that are kind of in the space, I feel like, are more, yeah, it's just too early, realistically. There's not really much value, I feel, that you could extract for game development right now. Maybe art, maybe coding. Definitely coding more so than anything, but even those are hard because a lot of it is proprietary. Like especially big tech or big gaming AAA studios, they use proprietary engines, and like it's kind of hard to use like these existing code gen tools with a proprietary code. The only way I could see it being helpful is like helping like with writing. Or being like creating like generative dialogue based off of the experiences in the game and such. Like I could see that being the case, but all right, let's read. I like to imagine all the executives who've taken to social media or stood before investors to proclaim that generative AI tools are going to somehow birth video games our puny organic brains could barely conceive, are pulling an industry-wide prank. I've not heard that, to be fair. Let's see who can say the most outlandish shit is what messages in the WhatsApp group must read. It's probably called CE Bros or something equally drab. CE Bros? I don't even know what that means. Inside joke, don't get it. Either that or their families are being held hostage by the first self-aware iteration of ChatGPT and risk being churned into the emerging singularity. Bro, the writing for this article has been so good. It's been on point more than anything else, honestly. I like to imagine that because those are only plausible reasons, you would suggest generative AI is poised to deliver an almost unimaginable collection of new capabilities, or allow players to convert their imaginations into creations, before hard cutting to a rudimentary maze formed out of cardboard boxes. Truly revolutionary. Yeah. Yeah, it's there's just not much use for generative AI right now besides writing. It's totally in games. This is funny though. I do wonder like what startups are actually like making specifically AI stuff for games. I wonder what they're actually doing. Those examples come straight from execs at Netflix and EA. There are of course many more. Yeah, I mean Netflix has a VP of Gen AI for games, which I don't even know what they would do. I don't even know. Mike Verdu. I wonder what his history is. All right, he's a games producer. What games has he worked on? Zynga? Oh, Command and Conquer, Lord of the Rings. Okay. Early Unreal. Dang, he's he's a bit of a boomer, but it's all right. Whoops. It's entirely possible that some generative AI tools might streamline development processes. It's no doubt already has. Yeah, this is the only way. This is really the only one I could see like actually code stuff. But it's frankly embarrassing to see business leaders who probably couldn't cobble together a cohesive video game asset if they're like dependent on it, behave as if the rise of generative AI tools, some of which are currently being pelted with lawsuits, is akin to the second coming of Christ. Right now, the praise being lavished on generative AI tools by executives has no basis in reality and deemed designed to placate investors. Oh my, I need to figure out how to say this word. Placate.
K.
Okay. During a year when mass layoffs and studio closures have bludgeoned workers across the industry, it's an altogether depressing state of affairs that highlights the growing disconnect between those in development trenches and the C-suite hive mind that seems intent on replacing creativity with content. I wonder whether artificial intelligence could do their job. Yeah, but to be fair, this isn't unique to the video game industry. Corporate America, I use this term like the other day, but like, corporate America is frothing at the mouth to be able to replace human workers with robot workers for a fraction of the price. So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of the corpo mindset, and it's really, I don't know. We have a while. We have a few years at least. But I wonder in games who what startups are really embracing AI or like making AI products for games. I just feel like there's not really many of them. The fight for video game preservation heats up. What does it mean to preserve video game history? The answer is surprisingly complicated. For years, we've documented the push and pull between copyright holders and historians, pitted against each other largely by frustrating constraints of copyright law and market forces. Archivists are racing against the clock to ensure our community's storied annals are documented as best as possible. Video Game History Foundation founder and director Frank Cifaldi took to the stage at 2024 Game Developers Choice Awards to plead for those in the audience to dig up what software and documents they can form their attics before they're lost for good. Yeah, that is definitely a serious thing, and like DRM and like copyright laws are definitely hampering that, which kind of sucks. And you can't wait the usual 100 years for it to, the copyright to expire or whatever, to go to public domain. Moby Games, this is one that I know of, video game database. I don't necessarily need to play them, but I'd love to have a, like, kind of Rotten Tomatoes has, they have a, whoops, I thought, oh wait, Rotten Tomatoes, I thought they owned RT.com. Maybe not. They have a, where you could like watch, like where you could stream, where you could watch. I want something that says where you could play. They have this buy. What about the games database or something? Twitch used to own this one, right? Or IGDB, yeah. I think Twitch still owns this one. This is another one. Avowed comes out in February? Oh, okay. Fragpunk? I've never heard of that game. Recently released. Let's just click on Path of Exile 2. So we have releases, links. Okay, this is the games DB. This one's even. This one's the not the best. I don't know. Moby Game seems to be the best, but they only preserve. Just it's information about the game, not about actually playing it. There's a website. I think it's called like Retro. I linked it in. I think I linked it in Discord. Probably linked it way too long ago though. Yeah, I'm probably not finding it. Maybe it's one of these. Definitely not this one. Definitely not this. Oh, this looks cool. The Spectrum. It was like one of these like weird domains. I got Zoo Tycoon from there. That's all I know. Zoo Tycoon 1 download. Oldgamesdownload.com. My Abandonware. This is it. myabandonware.com. 30,000 old games, but I feel like it's like the abandonware kind of like that demo disc, like Funhouse, everyone Funhouse fan, demo disc. Oh look, they use Moby Games. What is this thing? The Spectrum? Relieve the Magic? Pick up and play games? Is this a keyboard? What is this? Love the music. Okay, anyways. Yeah, My Abandonware. They have a bunch of old games here. Anyway, okay, let's get back to it. The answer is surprisingly complicated. Yeah. Fighting to keep those game assets accessible has proven dire. The Foundation this year announced that by its accounting, almost every game released before the year 2010 isn't legally available anymore. Yeah, I think these kind of websites aren't... I think technically they do break copyright. Like old games download. Yeah, like no way. Like this is pirating shit. Which I mean, it's whatever. I don't really care. But I have a Pirate Bay hat. What do I care? Fighting to keep these access successful has proven dire. The Foundation this year announced, legally available. This data did little to budge the position of the Entertainment Software Association, which told the Library of Congress there was no possibility its members would support any form of remote access to D-list games. Its members see those unavailable titles as commercial opportunity. Having them available to the public in such a form may harm their ability to repackage them in the future. Yeah, but that's like crazy. Are you serious, Windows? And this also goes, this goes with their pattern of the capitalism, you know, extracting capital by any means necessary. The content of those games might be preserved, but due to the Library of Congress' ongoing refusal to allow DMCA exemptions for video games that are analogous to those available for film and literature, accessing those titles has become physically difficult. It's also narrowed the number of physical locations where this content is preserved. If the worst were to occur, what little has been preserved could literally go up in smoke. Yeah. The VGHF, video game... What was this? Video game... something Foundation, has been joined by allies like GOG and Epic Games, which have each made commercial commitments to keeping older titles playable as long as possible, but the decision by some like Blizzard Entertainment to pull their games from GOG rather than commit to more permanently available permanent availability shows the tension between profits and the public good. Yeah, and GOG is great, which is actually owned by CD Projekt Red. Owned by CD Projekt Red. They have a bunch of old games, and they're DMCA free. You don't need an internet connection. You actually download the full game to play it, which DMCA free is. I love that. Like Steam games, and Steam's actually recently changed this to where it's only a license. They only sell you a license, and if you were to go and check out right now, like they added a little thing to say that now, and so the fact that GOG exists and it's DMCA free, I think is important and it's cool. We need some more people, some more companies like this. And a lot of it is, and they have these old games, which I think GOG stands for good old game, right? Yeah, right here. Oh, look, exactly. Preservation program. We make games live forever. Since 2008, we enhance good old games ourselves to guarantee convenience and compatibility with modern systems. Even the original developers of the game do not support it anymore. This game is currently will work on current and future most popular Windows PC configurations, DRM free. This is the best version of this game you can buy on any PC platform. We're the only platform to provide tech support for the games we sell. If some issues with your game appears, our tech support will help you solve them. Wow, I never knew that. That's cool too. And they even made improvements. That's insane. 2024. This is a OG Zoo Tycoon or a Roller Coaster Tycoon. Applied DX wrapper for seamless support for modern displays. Compatibility. That's cool. DRM free. Love to see that. Oh, I guess yeah. Steam sales, winter sales going on right now. I haven't even opened up Steam. Video game history is still locked away behind a vault whose walls are built from capital. But look at it this way: if there's a vault, there's always a chance to put together a team for one last job. TV tropes. Is this the Italian Job? Funny. Okay. It's getting too expensive to make video games in the USA and other high cost of living regions. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Let's read and we'll have to see. The layoff crisis in 2023 and 2024 make it clear the game industry needs social safety nets. In between story after story about layoff and studio closures, we also processed a steady stream of news about investors pouring cash into new studios in up-and-coming regions like Eastern Europe and Southeast Asia. As we discussed in July, this is driven both by emerging talent in these areas who deserve to be rewarded, totally, agreed, and by the cheap cost of living, which allows studios to employ more workers in the same price they'd have to pay in the United States in other high cost of living areas. This trend has been brewing for years, but picked up steam in 2024. Rising global inflation hit hard in areas where housing costs have shot way past the minimum wage. Softer than expected revenue drove companies like Bungie, Ubisoft, and Paradox Interactive to lay off workers in cities like Seattle and San Francisco, both regions where the cost of living has shot upwards in the last decade. Yeah, but unfortunately, that is where a lot of technical talent is in these large cities, especially like San Francisco and Seattle, which are just tech hubs outside of the video game industry. That's where you're going to find the best talent. You know, working remote would kind of solve this, where you don't really need an office. Like, that cost would be offset by not having the office if you were to keep these employees. I don't know. But this is just where the top technical talent is. Unless you want to get someone from Seattle or San Francisco to move to, I guess, somewhere in the Midwest, like, and pay for the relocation stuff. Like, I just don't think that would happen. Just remote. Just let them work remote. This problem extended northward too, as companies like Gameloft Toronto, and Torn Banner Studios also made deep cuts or went under. It's driven the need for studios to contract external development partners who can supply labor from cheap, cost-of-living regions like Virtuos and Keywords. I need to see more data on this, because this seems like maybe just like a prediction versus like something that actually happened. I don't know if these layoffs are necessarily because of like, I don't know. I feel like the layoffs could be sustained if the company were to be ran in a different way versus like them being expensive. I do think games are really expensive and they cost a lot more to make, but I think that's kind of in part due to like the culture that it's created and kind of like the actual like structure of the companies versus like, labor's expensive. It's like, yeah, but that's for every single industry now. It's video games. It's not exclusive just to video games. Many of these companies make successful games, but if revenue softens even a little, the high overhead costs will plunge a company straight into the red. Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, where it's like their risk aversion is just like, it doesn't exist, or it's poorly thought out, and they just don't really care because they know that they could just lay off people or close studios, and then if they need to, they could just reopen them and hire them back because people are gonna need jobs. I don't know. It seems like it's not really. It's more so like their strategy versus like them actually wanting to change. This trend is maddening because it's so outside the control of the video game industry, and large corporations have less incentive to push for any change. Yeah, no, exactly. Yep. If it works and it's cost effective, then like why? Like why care to like keep them on longer if it costs you more money or whatever? Thinking from the executive perspective, like, it's unfortunate. A tighter job market means they gain more control in salary negotiations and can push down costs by underpaying workers or taking advantage of those overseas contracts. Meanwhile, generative AI developers hope to exploit this issue by claiming their tools can be force multipliers for smaller teams. A pitch that makes it easier for someone to swallow the concerns of unauthorized training data and high energy costs. Yeah, I feel like when you're thinking about large corporations, you have to think about it a bit differently than like a video game developer, like an indie one. Like generative AI and like an indie game dev, like not that useful. But when you get larger to these large corporations, especially video games, there's a lot more complexity in terms of like planning and administrative work, really mainly administrative work. And you're dealing with like, huge Jira boards and like tickets and issues. And this administrative work is where AI could come in and actually help. But really that only exists in these large corporations. The actual video game development themselves, kind of like we talked about before, like there's really not much there. Like this is kind of worthless. It's more so the administrative work that could see benefits from the AI, but even then it's like, yeah, again, like unauthorized training data, this is a concern for large corporations, especially ones that make IP, like develop IP brands like video games, because if they're using unauthorized training data to generate art or something, then that could be a lawsuit because they use that to make the game. So, and also we want the artist to be fairly compensated. Yeah, it doesn't have to be this way. Game studios shouldn't need to only live on billion-dollar hits to keep the lights on, and the fear of keeping a job shouldn't force workers to face poverty wages. Some, like Washington State Department of Commerce, are laying the groundwork for economic incentive programs for game studios. Yeah, and this is how it should be. I mean, think about the acting, the entertainment industry as a whole. We have like movie and TV show productions. You have to be a part of these kind of like, I know a lot of them are part of unions, and there's like existing frameworks that when you hire someone, there's like, certain benefits and things you have to provide them. Video game workers kind of seem like they need the same thing, like developers and everything. Like they really need something bigger than just something outside of just their single company to help protect them. Hopefully, whatever Washington's making, other states will take it on. A lot of times, Washington, Oregon, California, they're the most, more progressive cities or more progressive states in the United States. A lot of times they lay the foundation for other states, and other states kind of follow. Like Washington might pass this, and then Oregon and California will follow, and then the rest of the United States will follow, or those who want to actually implement kind of more progressive ideas. I mean, they could be good or bad depending on what you believe, but generally I think a lot of I think it's a good thing that kind of states take the risk and understand and try things out more. And if it doesn't work, then the other states could see that and understand that and make changes if they want to continue. Or if it works, they could implement it, and they kind of already did a lot of the work. They did the groundwork. So anyways, a better world is possible if developers are willing to fight for it. Battling to lower costs of living and support programs that can keep developers financially afloat between jobs, like unions. Yep, exactly. They need something bigger than themselves outside of just their single company they work at. Will make for a healthier, happier business that can do what it does best, make great, innovative games. And I think the fact that this isn't, entertainment, it's art, makes it kind of hard because, these large corporations could make a game that isn't really successful because it's kind of about taste in some way. If people don't value the art that they've made, then they're not going to sell video games. It's kind of just the way it is. It's a hit-driven industry in a way. But movies, TV shows are kind of like that too. It's just entertainment. But the movies and TV shows kind of have things to protect its employees and everything. So, all right, last one here. It's not just that Princess Peach and the titular Princess Zelda, so this is when Girl Power grew, and the Princess Zelda from The Legend of Zelda got their own games this year. After all, these days it's not hard to find a game with a playable woman protagonist. No, it's that two of the earliest and most popular women in video games finally broke the glass ceiling. For decades, the Princess Zelda and Peach have been relegated to the side characters in games that arguably could not exist without them. Without Princess Peach, Mario wouldn't have no reason to fight for Bowser. Without Zelda, The Legend of Zelda would have just been The Legend of. As time has worn on, both these have taken on more in their respective roles, with Zelda playing a larger narrative in The Legend of Zelda and Princess Peach acting as a playable character in multiple Mario spin-offs. But this is the first time they've starred in a console title as the lead. And to that we say congrats, ladies. It's about damn time. Yeah, true. Good. Love to see it too. Especially existing female characters. Why don't they already have their own games? Their Princess Peach, I can't believe hasn't had their own game. Same with Zelda. This is a really good read, actually. Really good writing. It was a fun read. So kudos to the authors here. Who are they? Ryan Francis, Holly Green, Chris Kerr. Good read. I think indie devs are making up for it though. There's been such great indie games, and there's a lot of I would call them double A or single A studios that are kind of make still pretty ambitious games, but they're on a bit smaller scale, and they're just as fun though. I think the indie game devs are kind of the future of kind of fulfilling people's game fantasies, making cool games still that are niche and intricate. They're not trying to attract the widest audience, which isn't always good. I think indie devs are making up for us. They're been great in past 2 years, 3 years have been fantastic for indie devs. So cool. Good to see this. What else did I put in my title? Yeah, the robotaxis, Artemis program, and game den trends. All right, let's cover. We'll talk about one more story here, or news. Let's talk about Apple's releasing a new potential new smart doorbell that could unlock your door with Face ID. That's cool, but I don't know. Let's talk about smart glasses. I'm bullish on smart glasses. I think that we're gonna get. Where am I? Oh, here it is. I think smart glasses are going to be the next computing platform. There we go. And Meta is leading the way. So Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses could get a display next year. And I say smart glasses, but what I really mean is like a smartphone like smart glasses with actual computers. Like you don't even need a phone. Like Meta's Orion that has everything built in. It's a phone replacement. But it seems like Meta is doing what more tech companies should do and is just iterating on existing devices. They're right now these are kind of just more voice assistant with the cameras, and you do it all from your phone, but they could get a display, which is what their Orion glasses kind of showed off. The Ray-Ban Meta has been most successful. Have been the most successful smart glasses to date, offering an appealing mix of features and a form factor which is visually indistinguishable from normal sunglasses. So far, all of the AI functionality, notifications, and messaging features have relied on the glasses reading things to you through integrated speakers, but a new report says future model will get a display that could launch as early as next year. And Meta's Orion glasses technically aren't even getting a release date because it's not good enough. They said it's not good enough to release, and so they want to continue to build upon it and iterate. And I think slowly bringing in those features for those glasses to the more consumer products, existing consumer products, is a great way to transition people into like whatever you want kind of the end goal to be. So if they want the end goal to be to replace your phone and be these like computer like smart glasses or smartphone like smart glasses, then slowly introducing features as you figure out the technology and get it more commercially viable. Fantastic way to bring a product, or at least transition consumers into the product. We're fans of the existing smart glasses here at 9 to 5 Mac. My colleague Philippe Esposito said that his experience with Ray-Ban Meta glasses convinced him to believe in smart glasses, and my own experience mirrored that. I found it a great way to shoot POV photos, videos in very unobtrusive ways, and have incoming messages read to me while walking or cycling. Their AI capabilities are rapidly developing, and really excited about the future. Incoming messages read to me while I'm walking or cycling? Like, you could do this with headphones, bro. Like, you don't need a pair of glasses. The future model will get a display. Having the glasses read to me is often convenient, but there are times when a visual display is more efficient. Yeah, definitely. We can read something faster than it can be read to us, so it'd be good to have the choice. And a Financial Times report suggests that that's coming sooner rather than later. Meta plans to add displays to its Ray-Ban smart glasses as soon as next year, as the US tech giant accelerates its plans to build lightweight headsets that can usurp the smartphone as a consumer's main computing device. Yes, this is what they want. They want to be the next smartphone. The $1.5 trillion social media group is planning to add a screen inside the $300 sunglasses it makes and sells in partnership with the eyewear group owner of Ray-Ban, I'm assuming. Essilor Luxottica, according to people familiar with the plans. The updated Ray-Bans could be released as early as second half of 2025, the people said. The display would be likely to be used to show notifications or responses from Meta's virtual assistant, which is fortunate that it's stuck with Meta, but you know, it is what it is for now. Yeah, and smart glasses, I cover them a lot on stream here, and I want to continue because again, they're going to be likely the next compute platform. But every big tech company, Apple, Google, Meta, Amazon is rumored to be working on them for their delivery drivers. They're all working on some sort of glasses platform. Google's already had the Google Glass. Apple's doing internal research. Meta has their Orion and also, their existing Ray-Bans glasses that we're talking about here. And Amazon's working on, rumored to be working on glasses for its delivery drivers to give them better directions when delivering things outside of their vehicle, kind of like navigating an apartment complex or something. Yeah, so I mean, every big tech company's working on them. Or at least rumored to be. So yeah, I wonder what what do they have to say about Apple? Meta showed off an early prototype of its Orion AR glasses back in the summer. Well, they're undeniably clunky and reputably have a manufacturing cost of $10,000. Honestly, not even as much as I thought. Really, it's expensive, but like I don't even know. They did provide a persuasive look at what we can one day expect in something that looks and feels more like the company's existing smart glasses. The glasses' form factor is also believed to be Apple's long-term goal, with Vision Pro just an early step along the way towards Apple glasses. While speech will doubtless be included, Apple is expected to major on built-in displays. What is this sentence? While speech will doubtless be included, Apple is expected to major on built-in displays. Yeah, so they're gonna I don't know what's up with that sentence. It seems like Apple's betting more on the displays than they are like a voice assistant, which is interesting considering Siri. Back in 2019, it was reported that Apple believes the AR glasses will eventually replace the iPhone. Whether that will happen is a matter for debate, but I'm already convinced that smart glasses will play a very large role in our tech future. Meta adding display to its own glasses helps drive the technology forward and is something I very much look forward to trying. Yeah. Yeah, I think something like glasses will be the next compute platform, especially as more like AI assistant type of things start to come out, and it needs to be able to see the world around you. But yeah, it's interesting that Meta's slowly iterating on their existing ones, and yeah, I bet they're gonna iterate until we get to kind of the end goal of the Orion, replacing our phone. Cool. All right, that's all I got planned for today's stream. I have a YouTube video, long form video being released at noon today. I need to start making more long form videos so I could grow outside of just streaming, so I could draw people to the stream, and outside of just shorts, which the shorts are only getting mixed results. So YouTube video noon today. Check out on my YouTube. Check out YouTube, Brady's Brain, same as Twitch. If you're watching on X, it's Brady's Brain, but check out YouTube at noon. Subscribe to catch my video. It's about Misa AI, which we kind of briefly covered on stream, and their KPU, and some ideas I have about building more modular AI systems. So yeah, that's all I got planned today, guys. So appreciate everyone tuning in. So far, I think I'm going to stream tomorrow, 9 a.m. If I'm not streaming, you'll see on my title on Twitch here if I'm streaming or not. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you have a good Monday. If I don't stream tomorrow, hope everyone has a good Christmas and Christmas Eve. I'll definitely be back the day after Christmas, Thursday. I'll definitely be back Thursday if I'm not back tomorrow, and we'll finish out the week here. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a good Christmas if I don't stream tomorrow. Appreciate you tuning in and watching. Bye. Whoops.